When the US President Donald Trump announced his first temporary travel ban in January, it sparked chaos and confusion at airports across the country and anxiety around the world. And while official figures from the Commerce Department are yet to be released, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence the ban may have sparked a Trump slump in US tourism. Travel analyst Forward Keys found the week following the original ban, bookings from the 7 countries listed in the original executive order were down by 80%. That's not exactly a surprise, but the travel search site Kayak says interest for travel to the US has fallen off a cliff. For example, searches for flights to Tampa, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale and Miami, all down by more than 50% compared to last year. And on Monday, Nigeria advised its citizens to delay all but essential travel to the US. According to an advisor to the Nigerian president, in the last few weeks, the office has received a few cases of Nigerians with valid multiple entry US visas being denied entry and sent back to Nigeria. The Global Business Travel Association believes since Mr. Trump took office, the US has lost $185 million in both business and holiday travel. Mike McCormick is the Executive Director of the Global Business Travel Association. He joins us now from Washington. Mike, thanks for being with us. We'll get to all the financial impact in a moment, but quickly, what's your reaction to this new temporary travel ban which the President has issued? Do you see that as an improvement?
Well, let's say it's relatively better. I don't think we can use phrases like good news when it comes to this topic, right? I think we've seen, again, an order that was significantly narrowed. There were some, particular egregious elements like the green card part of the requirement, and other aspects of the original order that have been removed or refined. So I think it's better, relatively better, and hopefully we'll see a resilience of business travel where it will come back, and we'll see a reversal from the earlier impact that we saw, but that still remains to be seen.
Okay, so with regards to the earlier impact, the $185 million in losses to the US tourism industry since the president took office, how do you come up with that number?
Well, that was really just business travel impact alone. That was 1 week. So in the time leading up to the original executive order being put in place, business travel was up 1.2% during that week. We lost 2.2% in the week following the order. So with that gap, it cost business travel $185 million worth of business travel bookings. And that has a multiplier effect on the economy, on jobs, on tax collection. Business travel drives business growth. So when those transactions went away, they went away permanently.
Well, okay, so there's a lot of anecdotal evidence out there, but amid all of that, both American Airlines and United told reporters last week they're yet to see any decline in travel to the United States rather. So how does that fit into the picture here?
Well, I do think that there was an impact, but it's spread over, obviously, all airlines, the entire industry, and it was a 1 week period. So, again, not surprising that they wouldn't see a huge impact to their particular bookings in any 1 week. But when you have that kind of impact spread out over a longer period of time, it undermines confidence in traveling here to the U.S., undermines confidence in doing business here in the U.S., and that's been proven out. Again, business travel is resilient over time, but it's the uncertainty that really has the biggest impact. And it's not just the 6 or 7 countries involved. In the original order, it had a much broader impact.
Okay, the numbers are essentially for international tourism bringing in about $250 billion to the United States. That was in 2015. It was expected to see steady growth, around 3% annually in the coming years. How do you see those numbers? How can you quantify the long-term effect of the travel ban?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, when we look at other aspects, other environmental things that have happened, individual terrorist events, those impacts tend to happen, have an immediate impact, and then dissipate over time. This one is different. We've never experienced anything like this before. I think there's still uncertainty, but I think, again, this the refinement of the order, the order of the changes that just came out today, it's a significant improvement over where we were before. So hopefully this will create a sense of calm, and again, restore business travel to its previous levels, and we can look forward from here.
Okay, Mike, good to speak with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.